Hey, Dusk the Viking here, and welcome to my guide for Mission 5, Homecoming King. Before we get started, I wanted to preface this guide a little bit. With the previous missions, you would sometimes learn a little bit about the game, but Mission 5 teaches you a lot about the game, and I'm going to talk about that as we go through the guide, so just heads up. Alright, let's get started. Alright, the first thing you want to do is turn around and run straight to this vehicle because we're going to drive straight to Misery Manor. The reason you're doing this is because Misery Manor has an arquebus, which is going to make the mission a million times easier. However, the arquebus is often bugged out and you can't pick it up, so we want to rush to it because if it is bugged out, you want to be able to restart the mission without wasting a ton of time. Thankfully, this road takes you straight to the house you need to go to. It's this two-story in the Misery Manor area. You're going to go in. There's sometimes a ball bat on your left, but it's not always there, so just go straight to the skeleton and take it out. With Arthur, just spam heavy melee attacks. He can punch a skeleton to death, no problem. Just keep hitting him until the execute shows up and then finish him off. The reason you're doing heavies and waiting for the execute is because the stagger bar will reset if you do the special without that, and it takes forever to beat the stagger bar down so that you can start doing damage again. Grab the ball bat if it's there, then come up here and check on the arquebus. If you can pick it up, you're good to go. If you can't pick it up, it's wedged under the table, and you need to restart the mission. Then go ahead, loot the house, and run across the street, loot the house over here, get yourself some ammunition, and then we're going to carry on with the mission. However, if you decide that you would like a little bit more in the range of supplies, feel free to go ahead and scavenge the map. That is one of the lessons that this mission teaches you, is that it's okay to take your time to get the supplies that you need, and if you go ahead ill-prepared, there's a good chance you're actually going to get overwhelmed. Once you feel like you have enough supplies, then we're going to go ahead and shoot over to the quest marker. This quest marker will either be at Fishing Village or at the plane crash. If it's at the plane crash, it's actually super easy because you can just drive up to the objective, jump out of your vehicle, grab it, and then just run away to another nearby vehicle, hop in and drive away, boom, you're done. At this one, it's a little bit harder because Fishing Village is very hard to drive through, so you do actually kind of need to fight your way through. Having the arquebus, of course, makes it a lot easier to fight your way through. More skeletons will spawn once we grab the mission objective. Just run away. Which is a lesson that the mission teaches you a lot. Is that sometimes you stay and fight, but sometimes you need to run. There's an elite heavily armored skeleton over here. This is where the arquebus shines. If you can get a good headshot, then you can just walk up and execute the guy. It's honestly just that good. That's why this arquebus is so important and why it makes this mission so much easier. Grab your objective and then just take off. Only kill what you absolutely have to. After you're done here, it's time to head over to Nobi Cabin, where Nobi Cabin teaches you another very important lesson, and that is about the stagger bar and the different types of weapons in the game and what they're useful for. When you get to the cabin, you're presented with a myriad of weapons to choose from. A purple cleaver, a blue lumberjack axe, and whatever weapon you have on you. Now, the purple cleaver seems like the most tempting because it's purple, but the cleaver, even though it has a really good, fast, heavy attack, doesn't do much stagger damage. The lumberjack axe is actually better. However, they trap the lumberjack axe, and if you pick it up, Scotty gets up as a really powerful deadite, and you have to kill him. So it's better in this scenario just to stay with the Great Ball Bat, which has really good stagger damage, which will allow you to do damage. I go ahead and pick up the purple cleaver here just to show you how much of a struggle it is to use over the Great Ball Bat. Now we got a good clean one shot on that, but other times 2 heavies in, 3 heavies in, still didn't kill the skeleton because we hit that shield. Same thing here, it's a lot more of a struggle. Also, the other thing about this mission, or the cabin here, this wave, is a lot easier to deal with if you go to the kitchen and just sit in this corner and wait for them to come to you. It forces them to channel in more one at a time, and you're not getting constantly blindsided and stabbed in the back. Plus, this window lets you see them as they come into the front door, giving you a little bit of a heads up if you want to go ahead and just clear one with the arquebus. If it's a heavy elite, you absolutely will want to use the arquebus. For this elite, pay attention to the white stagger bar underneath the health bar, and notice how it changes the fight when we use a special attack before it's an execute, and see how much it actually drags the fight out.
Weapon requires reloading.
Sometimes doing the special attack is the right call, though. Here I use the special attack on the skeleton as a means to avoid damage from the elite. If you do decide to go with the cleaver for whatever reason, heavy attacks are your friend. If you see a crossbow, don't grab it. The arquebus is just way better. You may be asking yourself at this point, well, what's the point of the smaller weapons if the bigger ones just outperform them? Things like the ball bat and the shovel and your high stagger weapons. Well, that comes through more in the core game where you're playing with other people. If someone you're fighting with has a shovel or a ball bat, they're going to do all the stagger damage you need. You can then come in with something like a cleaver and just spam fast heavies and do a ton of damage. Now make your way up to the next quest objective, which will be your first fight with Evil Ash. This fight is nothing more than a 60-second survival period. You can't kill Evil Ash, and all you're really looking to do is survive for 60 seconds. Just make sure to take out all these skeletons on the way up. When this fight starts, you're going to see this timer in the upper right hand corner. All you have to do is survive. The main thing you're going to want to do is kill any of the additional skeletons that Ash summons. That'll help reduce damage that you might take. After that, it's just using your spacebar to dodge attacks, which is something else this mission really tries to show you. And that's the value of defensive play and the usefulness of dodging. After you're done here, head straight to the sewage treatment plant. There's a ton of free supplies there. Upgrade to the purple ball bat, collect any shemps and amulets that you find. There is a legendary crossbow, do not get it, it's a bait. The arquebus is going to serve you better. If you have some sort of, huge infatuation with the crossbow and you just love it and you're really good at landing headshots, sure, you can go ahead and take it. But the arquebus is just easier to use and still gets the job done. Now move to your next set of quest objectives where we're going to have to kill several skeleton flute players. There's a trick to this flute player and one of the other ones. If you walk up to it to melee it, several skeletons are going to spawn and they're going to keep spawning endlessly. However, if you get over on the bank and just shoot it and keep your distance, they never start spawning. I've triggered this portal When we get to the flute player on the opposite end of the compound, I will not trigger the portal over there so that you can see the difference. These stationary elites are the easiest to take out. One arquebus blast to the head and then just walk up for the execute. If you do happen to miss and hit the shield, they will take unfortunately require a lot more damage to take down. As you'll see, I kind of messed this up a little bit, but it's still fine.
Head.
This flute player does not spawn additional defenders, so you're free to just walk up and melee this one down. Our last flute player is up on the hill, and just like the one in the river, if you keep your distance, it won't spawn defenders. Now I said I'd showcase both scenarios, so in this one we will not spawn the defenders, so you can see just how darn easy it is if you do it this way.
Weapon requires reloading.
Boom, there you go. Now we can move on and pick up Arthur's sword. And this is another subtle lesson that this mission teaches you. And that's how valuable it is to use the right tool for the right situation. This part of the mission, I feel like, has tripped a lot of people up. It's very easy to get bogged down and then get surrounded by skeletons. Well, there's a trick and there's a lesson to be learned here. The lesson is that sometimes it's best just to run away and to keep moving. Of course, you will try in this one, but the skeletons are pretty relentless. They spawn constantly and sometimes in front of you. Well, the way to get through this is to not use your specials. Do not press the F key. The F key is typically going to trigger a pretty long animation, but if you just kill them with light attacks or heavy attacks, it's very, very quick, and you can keep your pace and keep moving.
Braggarts.
As you can see, doing it that way made the trip up the hill fairly effortless. Go ahead, top off, and then head through the portal where you're going to have to fight the pit deadite. This is a pretty involved fight, and you're going to have to learn to utilize dodges. You can bulldoze through part of the fight by spamming heavies like you've been able to on previous bosses, but not quite. You are going to have to do some dodging and some damage avoidance. I'm going to play this fight pretty sloppy, doing some bulldozing, but also some dodging, just to show that you really need to dodge. Also, ranged weapons are completely ineffective. After the fight is over, you're going to want to top off as quick as you can. Thankfully, the fight with Evil Ash is actually easier than it is with the Pit Deadite. A little bit of dodging and some well-placed heavy attacks, and this fight will not be that hard. Stamina conservation can also be helpful when you're dodging a lot. Don't be afraid to back off a little bit and give your stamina time to regenerate. Pace yourself in the fight if you need to. If you feel like you want more supplies, make sure you stock up on amulets and sheps before you get to the time-sensitive quests, so you'll have to do it fairly early. I slop through this mission pretty quick, and I don't grab additional supplies, just to show you that it's definitely possible to do it this way, but if you want to make sure, take the time and gather supplies early. Anyway, I hope this guide helped you. Thanks for watching.